SAP XI tutorials. Today we are discussing about what is SAP XI. My name is G. Praveen Kumar. These are my various websites regarding SAP. sapag.co.in, sapag.info, sap4india.com. So, what is SAP XI? SAP XI means SAP Exchange Infrastructure. SAP XI is one of the SAP NetWeaver component. XI is called it as a process integration, as it takes the responsibility of process of integrating different SAP and non-SAP systems in the heterogeneous landscape network of different computers. Exchange infrastructure can be used as a middleware engine to communicate in a distributed environment. The heart of SAP XI is integration engine, that is used for integrating different technologies using standard messaging techniques. For example, XML. SAP XI support different mapping tools are available for mapping the distributed systems, which can be mapped without having any expertise of technical details. As a real world example, XI can be helpful in integrating different banks with SAP R3. XI engine also support previous releases of SAP like SAP R3 like 4.6c and have many more adapters to communicate with legacy systems. And SAP XI is an integration technology and platform for SAP and non-SAP systems, application to application and business to business scenario, synchronous and asynchronous communication, cross-component business process management, and it includes built-in engines for designing and executing integration process, the business process. The goal of SAP XI is to provide single point of integration of all systems inside and outside the corporate boundary across technologies and organizational boundaries. The important feature of SAP XI is openness, flexible and transparency to the integration process. It is based on ESA and SOA. The overall key concept of SAP XI is to drive integrated business process across heterogeneous and highly dynamic landscapes in a more manageable, cost-effective way. The basic idea is to provide runtime infrastructure which allow the heterogeneous systems to be tied together with the favor connections, and at the same time, in order to connect those applications and let message flow from one application to other, have a centralized storage of integration knowledge. Thank you very much. Visit for more tutorials sapag.co.in, sap4india.com, sapag.info.